Good evening. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. A councilman for the small town of Mountain View is accused of shooting a teenager in the face on that councilman's property.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch is at the Jeffco Sheriff's Office. And Janelle, they say these kids shot, one of them, were looking for a place to take homecoming photos.
Kim and Kyle, deputies are trying to figure out how this escalated so quickly. They say the boys were doing something harmless when the homeowner pulled a gun on them. Now that man is facing criminal charges for shooting a boy in the face. A picture-perfect setting. That's what two teen boys saw when they pulled up to this home in Conifer on Tuesday afternoon.
This isn't an easy one to figure out why this equaled that.
Jackie Kelly says Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies are baffled. How did looking for a place to take homecoming pictures result in a boy being shot in the face?
They parked the car at the gate to the property. They did go over a fence and walked to the home and knocked. They wanted to talk to the homeowner and see if they could get permission to take photos there.
She says no one was home.
They walked back to their car and started writing a note to the homeowners, asking again for permission to take photos for homecoming. While they were writing their note, a black truck pulled up.
Kelly says Brent Metz, the homeowner, was driving that truck. He got out and fired a shot through the windshield. A single round hitting the 17-year-old in the face. The affidavit shows one of the teens heard Metz say, "Oh, my gun went off."
There's nothing that we know of yet that made sense for him to step out of his car, point a gun at these two juveniles and fire a weapon.
A picture-perfect setting, now marked by violence. Now, the boy is facing serious injuries, but we do know that from the Jeffco Sheriff's Office that it's unlikely they'll be charged with trespassing. The councilman will be charged with assault, reckless endangerment, as well as menacing. Live in Jefferson County, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Heads up, smoke from wildfires burning in Southern California will arrive in our area tonight. And WS Boulder posted this video showing the smoke's path. Officials believe a thicker plume will arrive late tomorrow afternoon and evening.
Oh, goody.
That's what I was going to say.
Yay.
Isn't that
That's super
special?
fun.
And we've got wind with it, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You know, today was just this lovely little break before all of that mess comes into Colorado. And with the smoke will come critical fire weather along the Front Range. Today, low to mid 80s all day. We peaked at 86 at DIA. Average high is 82. Comfortable, tracking showers tonight, but tomorrow the winds will increase and the temperatures will climb. We're in the mid 60s this hour in downtown Denver. The showers that we're tracking were already beginning to move out, and not everybody has seen the rain showers tonight. But tomorrow, when the winds shift out of the southwest and pick up, we go under a fire weather warning, a red flag warning. Denver, much of eastern Colorado, tinder dry conditions. We need to be really careful. The lightning that we're seeing with these storms tonight really hasn't been an issue, so more rain than lightning and wind on the eastern plains. But the showers are on their way out, and we are headed for a hot, dry day tomorrow with critical fire danger. I'll break down the timing and impact of these latest weather changes coming up.
A man now faces charges connected to a wildfire that destroyed more than 24 homes west of Loveland this summer. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office arrested 49-year-old Jason Hobby for igniting the Alexander Mountain fire. They say it started from a campfire ring. It burned 9,600 acres. Deputies say Hobby not only started the fire, but also pretended to be an officer and a firefighter. According to the Sheriff's Office, he owns what looks like a modified wildland fire truck. During the fire, they say he bypassed road closures and pretended to be a first responder defending ranch property. He's also accused of pointing a gun at people. A couple that lost their home in the fire calls the details of the arrest upsetting.
Mad. I'm angry at this person. Scared that somebody like this would do it again. And I'm just curious why.
Deputies don't know if the fire was started on purpose or if it was caused by carelessness.
The Public Utilities Commission, state regulators opened up an investigation today into unplanned XL power outages in the Denver metro area. The Lincoln Broadway Community Neighborhood Association has been complaining to state regulators about the outages on Lincoln and Broadway from Bayot to 3rd. XL counted 10 sustained power outages in that area this year. 4, they say, were caused by animals, 3 by equipment failure, 1 by weather, and 1 was due to construction. So that makes 9, and the cause of the 10th power outage unknown. Excel does offer customers a claim form to try and get reimbursement if an outage was due to their negligence, not for equipment failure or acts of nature. But it can be complicated to recoup those losses.
Businesses buy in bulk. They don't have itemized receipts for, 3 pounds of meat and here and there. It's pretty easy to look up a day's sales though and say, hey, last year or the year before we made $1,000 on this day. Can we pay us back $1,000?
State regulators have tracked 250 customer complaints about frequent outages since May. They came in from the Applewood business area in Jefferson County, University Hills and Happy Canyon in Denver, up in Louisville, and from Sterling Ranch in Littleton.
Molson Coors, the parent of Golden's Marquee Beer Company, is the latest to ditch their diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiatives. The company sent out a letter to its 900-plus employees last week detailing, quote, the next steps of their culture journey. That includes a rollback in their DEI initiatives, stepping away from third-party company rankings of corporate equality. In a statement, the company said it's starting next year, it will no longer set specific supplier diversity goals, and executive bonuses will be solely tied to business performance.
If you want your company to grow, then you should be committed to ensuring that diverse populations are able to be a part of your corporation. So moving away from that does not allow for those opportunities to happen as easily.
Molson Coors said they started planning for this in March, and this will not impact employee benefits or diminish their commitment to a strong culture. The HRC Equality Index that Molson Coors is stepping away from gave the company a perfect score in enforcing workplace protections for sexual orientation and gender identity. Coors says they will continue to welcome everyone at their bars. When that annual appointment at the gynecologist's office comes up, many women just don't want to go because the pap smear can be awkward, uncomfortable, even painful. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, there's a new test approved by the FDA that could change that.
Yeah, the FDA approved an alternative to the pap smear back in May. It's a self-swab test that's just as effective at spotting cervical precancer and cancer. Those new tests are on their way to many doctors' offices now. And doctors say this is a new option that could be a real game changer here for women.
It is really different, to be totally frank. It's a huge shift in terms of medical care.
Ladies, your annual exam could look a lot different. Patients will soon have the option to do a self-swab test to look for cervical cancer instead of a pap smear. Dr. Olga Muldoon says this is huge for women living in rural areas, the LGBTQ community, and for survivors of sexual assault.
Huge game changer. For those patients, this is really something that can make them be able to get care that they otherwise wouldn't be willing or able to do. So really, that's what this is made for.
Ana Martinez with the Blue Bench says going in for a pap smear can be triggering for survivors. Many will delay or avoid care altogether.
Unfortunately, we do get a lot of survivors who maybe they got a SANE exam and it was a very intrusive, difficult situation to go through, and just being in a medical setting, in a very similar position can be a lot. So yeah, it is certainly something we see people delay or come to therapy for to ask how to prepare for.
This new cervical cancer screening will give women an option they can do at home or at the doctor's office.
But having the control of being able to do it yourself with guidance or with clear instructions feels a lot more empowering than someone else, even if it's a well-intentioned healthcare professional, touching you in an area that might unfortunately have associations with previous trauma.
Muldoon says this self-swab option is reliable, it's not as invasive, and it's been used abroad for years before the FDA approved it here. And while it cannot and should not replace your annual exam, Muldoon says this new test could make all the difference for catching cancer early.
And so if this even makes a dent in our ability to be able to catch cervical cancer before it becomes something that is not curable, then it's entirely worth it.
Dr. Muldoon says self-swab for STDs are already here, and soon they'll have this self-swab cervical cancer test too. She says talk to your doctor about what option might be right for you so you aren't skipping out on those healthcare screenings that could save your life. Rachel Krause, 9 News.